Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here from Day Trading Radio. And tomorrow we got Friday. We got the beginning of an earnings season. It is Friday the 13th, and we just finished a great day with the CPI release and a nice little market rally. I sent out a video yesterday, and we kind of looked for this rally. The video, I kind of predicted that we're going to see. We weren't really going to see the rally type of event today, that we actually feed on the fade and actually move up a little, and that we did that most of the day. We nailed it pretty much. If you belong to Day Trading Radio, we made some really good money today on all different type of things. Now remember, we start off early in the morning. I'm just going to go over. I'm going to break down this video into just a couple parts. I'm going to try to make it nice and short and sweet. I always like to put that video out just to prepare us for tomorrow. Now tomorrow we have a bunch of banks, from JP Morgan to Citigroup, Wells Fargo, United Healthcare, many others. It's the beginning that kicks off earnings season, so it should be interesting. Futures are down right now. I'll take a look at that in a second. But we want to be in there early. That's where we take advantage of our pre-market movers. Our pre-market movers have been hot. I have a great scanner for that. The scanner has actually been shown. If you go to the site early in the morning from 4 o'clock in the morning when pre-market opens up Eastern Standard Time, you'll see my scanner running, and it'll actually identify. Let me see if I can bring that up for you. It will identify stocks that are on the move and the ones you want to be in. Basically, you'll see this scanner right here will be next to my chart, and it's called my low float flyers. And what it does, it scans real time, looking for certain stocks that have low floats. In this case, these have some higher floats on it. But basically, my criteria is pretty strict on having price, volume, and percentage gain. And then over here, I have stocks that are making strength. So this is an excellent tool. I just introduced it to the members. We get to really just profit off it early morning. And that's our first trade, usually the first trades of the day. And we could also trade the futures at that time too. But, these have been really, really key. And I'm really looking forward to trading these in the morning going forward. I've been explaining how to set up your flyers. If you have the TC2000 charting program and you are a member of Day Trading Radio, feel free to contact me. I don't mind giving you my scans and my chart template. All right. So just make your way over to DayTradingRadio.com and check it out. So this is the S&P today. We had that nice rally. Again, if you watched the last couple of videos, and I recommend doing it, if you haven't watched any of the previous videos from this week, we really talked about the prediction of a rally into the CPI and after the CPI. And this triangle box here, this little area here, the big question, the $1 million question is this the low? Everyone's expecting, I would say now it's gone down a little, but I would say between 75 to 85% of the talking heads out there were expecting the markets to retest October lows. And they're still up there. It's definitely over 70% of people expect October lows to be taken out. And the main reason is because of earnings. Now, I always say that the market likes to price in these things, and all we've been talking about is this. And all the talking heads have been talking about it. And they've been talking about fading the CPI, and we didn't fade the CPI. We rallied on the CPI. So, a couple things to look at. We had a divergence back here. It's our number one setup. The divergence, the 9-3 divergence on the lower low right here on this candle, that was important for us. And that's what we predicted, that we're going to get that move up. Now we're kind of inside this nice, beautiful 1-2-3 pattern. 1-2-3 patterns, 3 pivots to make a channel. Really, you need 2 on one side, 1 on the other, and the 2 make a straight line. You drop the parallel line to the lower pivot or the top pivot, and you extend that out. Now this was one here. We had 1, 2, 3. We came down 4, bounced, and then we failed it. Now we failed it all the way back down here, which was another trend line that I love going out. This is a really good trend line out here, a channel line. Now I'm not going to go into why my channel line is here. If you know how I trade channels and the importance of understanding channels and how they retest, closing prices, everything I teach live. This is over 25 years of trading, so I really do know how to place my trend lines and show you why certain things come back, test it, hold it, test it, hold it, and then we start to look for these levels again in the future, and they start to hold. So that blue line held. We moved back up. we kind of chopped around this and finally broke through it. Now we're in this upward channel, and I would really pay attention to this red line. This will be our, our pretty much big red line in the sand. If we kind of roll over and take out this line, there's a good shot that October lows could be taken in, but I'm not even going to say that. I think there's a shot that we could come down, but I'm always looking for that reversal and that divergence reversal. So even if we do take this down, if we see a divergence down here and we pull back down, again, I don't think October lows get taken out. We can actually drop a little bit further here, just to kind of spook some people before lifting off and really taking off. But I don't even know if we're going to do that. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day as we're midpoint into this channel. Not making any predictions at this point, because we're short-term traders in this environment, even though we have some, and the short-term traders with a low, our low float poppers early in the morning at 7:30, and then we trade until about 4:30. So let's break down the setups for tomorrow. All right, we do have some good setups. Congratulations! I put out a video the other day on ZYME, ZYME. And we talked about the pennant formation and the breakout that was going to come, and the great setup here. Shout out to Steve from Texas for bringing this one in front of me, and I did my research. Liked it. They're actually going to be presenting their data from one of their trials next week, so I expect this to run in front of that data. We're in it here down in the 7s. It's now going to be taking out 9 tomorrow. It looks excellent to cross up. It looks like it's about to make a nice run out of this space. So really happy with that one. We continue to hold on to that. Got some new ones today. Let's go over these stocks that we're running after the close. All right, this is the first thing we're going to do. Just take a look at stocks. This is going to get you ready for tomorrow morning. All right. Let me close this up so it's easier to read. All right, there we go. So we have Carvana had a nice rally today. I'm not really interested. I'm just going to go over these and just kind of metaverse here to pop. If you see, in the morning when we get in, you see this grayed out area of the chart. The pre-market starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, people. 4 o'clock in the morning is when the trading starts. And if you're not familiar with that, you need to get familiar. You need to be in the markets early. I tell all our members that if you want to make money, you have to go where the money is. Even though the market's up at 4 o'clock, not everyone's going to get up at 4 o'clock. Hell, I'm not going to get up at 4 o'clock every single day. I usually get into the office around 7:30, and we have plenty of moves. But if you get in there before 4 o'clock, as you can see, a lot of these things will move early on. This gray area here is the 4 o'clock to 9:30 pre-market session. And you can see this. Right when I get in, I tend to mark these off when I get in. I say, all right, this one's moving, let's mark it off. Not to say we're taking it. I just like to mark all these off. So if you see a yellow circle, that means we identified it as a mover, pre-market mover, and we watch it throughout the day. No trade on that one. Let's take a look at a couple. Bitfarms, that's a Bitcoin. The Bitcoin was on fire today. Dermtech, great setup. Talked about it all day. As you can see, this thing has been running, and these things give you big percentage gains. That's why I say you have to be over the last 3 days. Last 3 days, this has been up 100%, basically, a 100% move on DMTK. APPH, App Harvest, HEPA. We talked about this one. All these have been moving up. I'm just taking a fast look right now with you, just so we can. Werewolf, I ended up getting into this one today when we noticed it grinding up. It's looking pretty good. I think we could have a follow-through day on this one. Don't know much about it, except that it's coming out of just a nice low there, and we started to see some volume the other day and came back down, and we gapped up, and now we've kind of followed through. So momentum has shifted drastically on this, as you see with the stochastics, and I'm look for a little bit of a follow through and take profits, and that's what we want to do. We want to take profits. Most of these setups you see are smaller stocks that we are searching out that fit a certain criteria. They start to move early in the morning on news. They usually are up over 30%, and they could get big percentage gains. So lots of times they'll show up. I'll look at them, decide if they have the news is good enough, how the volume is, and decide if we're going to get into it. Like today, this was a nice one. This was a pennant formation. It took off right here when we noticed it. Consolidation. It took off. It pushed all the way back up. It pulled back here. Nothing really happened to it. It kind of sold off. Again, you can see here, anytime you... Wow, you hear that? That was kind of spooky. Something just fell. Again, same thing. If you see the orange circle, that means that we've identified that as a runner earlier. Party City, another one. And of course, right, 10. Bed Bath & Beyond, super squeeze today. HTGM, another nice one, $5 now. Harbor Custom Development. Look at this one. This was one of the bigger ones. Arrival. So I saw this one popping. It was a cheap one, 35 cents. It went up to, it was up about 62%, and then actually closed higher on the overnight session. I have just a couple more just to point out. I'm not seeing anything that great going into tomorrow. They'll appear. I see Blue Apron has moved after hours. This one is up about 30%. If you look at that $1 mark to the $1.30 mark, it makes sense to see it up 30%. So those are some that you might want to watch for tomorrow. But on more of a permanent or long-term swing basis here, I am in a couple that we picked up net on the pullback today. NET. I just like the base here. Nice base, double bottom off the $40 level back here in November. And we're starting to move back up. Hanes Brands was a great trade of ours, HBI. I heard it had some news after hours. Look at the pop here. Now we got in, and we took profits about here, and it's continued to move up. And today, after hours, I heard they came out and raised their guidance, and this thing just jacked up here. It's just an incredible big move, a beast move here, HBI. So I'm out of it now, but hey, that was a good trade too. All these trades have been working out really well, and they all happen typically in the morning. Breakouts have been working great in this market on smaller stocks. We got into Teva the other day after this big pop, and we said this is probably going to continue. If you look at this long base here, this little box I made, this little line here, this is kind of a breakout area, and we started to break out of that today. We're just getting through it, so I expect some follow through. $12 is our target on this. Just a 10 to 20% move on this. That's what I would like. Maybe even up to $13 is a top, or actually $14 is the top part of this range here. That looks like we're going to get to going. Most of the bad news is out of Teva, so this actually looks quite good. Another one that I just recently got in, and I want to probably add to this one, is this one, that AeroVironment. This is the one that has the Switchblade missile systems that they're sending over to the Ukraine. I like this because it was a nice steep divergence, kind of a triple bottom here, a downward trend line. We got the pop. Today it was down. It was down today, but as we could take a look at, like Lockheed Martin, some other ones, Northrop Grumman, NOC, a lot of those were kind of down and not really performing with the markets today. So I'm not putting too much into that. I would like to see this come back and regain the that 90 level before I add to this, but I think I will eventually add to this. Nothing what I should say important, or you don't have to get into this one right away. This is not a critical buy area right now, but see if it starts to hold up here. As you can see, we're kind of slightly overbought. If we came back down here to this rising trend line of the stochastics, believe it or not, I do see these trend lines hold on stochastics. A couple other ones for food for thought. KidPick, P-I-K. I looked at this the other day. I didn't do anything, and now I see it pop today. These are my super low floaters. This one looks good. I'm going to circle it. Tell you that that way, if I ever look back, we look back at things, and I said, all right, this is where we looked at the last time, and typically what we like it. Now, these are some cheap ones. The Versus Systems. Real low float, recent reverse split, 1.4 million shares. Looks like it's ready to go. This one is starting to move for FRZA, Forza, that I believe that is the electric boat maker. And again, we pointed this one out this week, and it's starting to move. China Pharmaceutical, not interested. SciSpark, 79 cents. It's kind of an interesting level here. I'll circle it also. These are real small floaters, 2.3 million shares. Here we have Caspian Holding, specialty retail. This fits the criteria too. It's just kind of just hanging out here, 65 cents. I know these are cheap, but like I said, it's a certain technique that we look. I follow these. If I see volume coming into them, we usually get big moves on them. So I just keep them close to me and follow them and chart them out. That way we could easily see them move. The object is to get them while they're flatlining. Don't chase them. Get them while they're flatlining, and when they're popping, like this one will pop to $1 probably soon, then you just sell into the strength, and you have nothing to worry about instead of chasing. Sunlink Health Systems, I kind of marked this one off yesterday. It's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to pay attention to all these tomorrow. I'll probably take, this one looks pretty good too. You can see some of the, when they do move, this moved up 100%. Sofo, Sonic Foundry. That's another one interesting that hasn't really bounced. So these are set up. And again, low float, 3.2 million shares. If they have any type of news, these things will go. Tuesday Morning Corporation, that one's dead. But the kid pack, we're back down to this one. This one finally getting a little pop. We'll watch it tomorrow. That's a couple other ones to pay attention to. On my divergence list, it's not much. I got Baxter Labs on the gap down, 5 to 7 day pullback. It's starting to show a divergence here. Baxter International Medical Equipment. Someone mentioned today on the show if I liked MDT. And MDT, and again, typically you'll find this, like medical instruments. Here's another one, medical devices. They're all in this downward channel. The medical device MDT is kind of interesting. It has this base here. I liked it back here. It's been chopping around. Gapped up, kind of pulled back, closed that gap, moving back up. There's a big trend line here. So why not? Now we have to also pay attention to that Baxter International, where that thing came from, 85, cut in half, basically. That's on the list. And then LHX. Let's see what this one. Oh, L3 Harris, Aerospace and Defense. You could see the nice candle here. I don't know if that's even a good candle. Sometimes you got to check the candle. See, this candle is a bad candle. After hours, it's a bad print. So sometimes that bad candle will pick up and put a bad candle in here. So it's not the candle I wanted to see on this. So I won't follow up on this one. All right, here's one that looks very interesting, very similar. It just looks good. We had that gap down. We're starting to move back up. ENSC. If we take a look at the consolidation, it would, if we takes out that $1 level, I see this thing going. It's consolidated nice. And it's kind of what I call a ledge here. So it's a nice ledge. It held up pretty good. Didn't really sell off. So if we get a pop through $1, that's going to really probably get this thing going. If you take a look at what we liked on this, had a reverse split, so we have a lower float. It's flat-lined. We have the momentum on our side with the stochastics and a possible divergence here with a higher stochastic rotation. So that looks really good. Now here's another one that I just got into today. So you take advantage of this. Sober Safe. Again, another flatliner. Started to get some action. So we take a look at this. I noticed it pop up here. I got in. I feel like it's the first day of a possible runner. And you can see after hours it's up a little. So SOBR. Just to kind of give you an update on what that company does. Sometimes the best place to go is go to the website itself, Sober Safe, and an overview of the company. Alcohol abuse has to do with alcohol detection, preventive solutions, fleet safety, leadership team. Look at these guys. Um, you know what? I like the chart. I like the chart. The website looks okay. And again, we go back to this. Again, the whole thing is about where this thing came from. It was up to $4. Not that long ago. I'd like to see this thing return back up here to about $1.50 and stuff. I picked up 300 shares. Well, usually look, if I have 300 to 500 shares, I'm looking for 30 to 50 cents on the trade. If we get these type of moves, we tend to get those. And, in some cases, you get caught with some good news and you really get a big move like it did back here. So, I don't know. It looks really good. I'm in the sober. Just wanted to update you on that one. Don't know if I even mentioned this before, but we also started a position in HOWL, Werewolf Therapeutics. Cool name. I thought maybe they made a vaccine for lycanthropy, when you change into a werewolf. But I don't know. Again, it's about the momentum, about the chart. A nice pop today. Started seeing it go here. We got in. It's consolidated at the highs. Like to get a little bit further move on it, and we're good to go. If we go back to the website here, this is the dashboard. And if you're part of the site, you get these alerts instantaneous. This is what we call a trade alert box. When I do send the trade out and you're in the dashboard in the chat rooms and stuff, these trades, you get to see them go right across your screen. Also, you get delivered to your email and on a text message. If you want to have a text message set up, it's very easy to do. Go up to your alert manager up here and just set that up. Very easy. Put in your number. Everything else is here. A lot of great stuff. Just to kind of review today. Go back. This is yesterday. A little getting this ready. What I'm doing today. We sold Disney this morning. I had a call from the other. I just picked it up yesterday, and then today we had the news. Pelts news, and it popped, and I took profits off right away. So we just took $100 off of that. Just picked it up at 387 or 385. Sold it at 487, $400. I took it off. Didn't even look back. So we picked up the SPY calls at the lows today, and I ended up picking up some net at the lows today. Sold the SPY call. Picked it up at $1.97, sold it at $3.60 for a profit of $161. That was only one SPY call, too. I mean, a lot of people trade much bigger, but I'm doing a show and I'm trying to trade and juggle. But you know what? $100 here, $100 there. ENSC, you can see I talked about getting in that position today. Then I ended up buying a put at the end of the day. So bought a put, and that's up about $85 now going into tomorrow. So we're up another $85 on that. Sold part of my AUPH. Big pop on AUPH. Picked up this one in the fives for a profit of $700, and I'm still holding 200 shares of that. Bought my sober, as you can see here, sober. Bought it, and then I ended up buying the HOWL. So that's what we reviewed today, and that's what I'm in. And you get these things live each and every day here at Day Trader Radio. So head over to the site. If you head over to Day Trader Radio, you could actually, if you're not a member, check out the different memberships you could get. You get so many different things. You get the Rockbot, you get the Tradeometer. These are great for futures traders. We trade a lot of the MES, micro contracts, Dow contracts, ES, NASDAQ, anything to do with futures. The swing trades, like I said, right now, currently holding a few swings. I like the net. I did like the Disney, but it gave me a nice little pop, so I took it off. But that was probably the next thing I would like to do is get back into Disney on the first pullback. If we get a little pullback down into that 99, 98 area, I'd be all over Disney. I'd reload Disney. Shopify, still think Shopify, even though it's a higher beta stock, I still think Shopify is a good bargain down here in the 36 area. It's holding its legend out here. You can take a look at this. We kind of dipped out here in October, pushed back up, held the trend line, held it, and now we're going to look to push out of this. So I do like that Shopify too. So there's some longs here that I am holding long. Let's see what else. Anything else here that needs to be discussed? I think that's it. Sold the meds. The other, that pulled back. We made $132 on that. I have the NXP TP. The Duluth. Oh, let's talk about Duluth. This is a new one. I didn't even look at that one today. Wow, DLTH, because I probably would have added to that. So yeah, so this is looking pretty good. Duluth Holdings. Big trend line. Downward trend line. We popped to it here, came back, gap down to it. Now we're testing it. I like it. I just like it. I liked it back here. I've been following it. I said, you know what? Yesterday we're going to get into it on this. It gapped up. It's going to continue to run. Just almost like our underwear trade here, the HBI, which we crushed. I mean, so Duluth Holdings, expecting to do the same thing. That is a new position also. DLTH. Apparel store. So you can see we're bargain hunting down here, and it looks pretty good. I wanted to try to keep this video under 10 minutes. I can't get these things under 25 minutes, so I am sorry it's a little later. And you have time to watch it in the morning. I'll be in the office probably before 8 o'clock tomorrow, trading the pre-market movers. Just head over to DayTraderRockStar. You'll see the screen. You could watch the broadcast for free, as long as we're not doing a members only segment, but most of the time you can watch it for free and be part of the action. So have a great night. We'll see you on Friday the 13th. Have a great one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.